where my passion is at, truthfully, it's not in having the most massive lifts possible or being as big as possible. It's my passion, like what gets me up is, some of these bucket list goals I've had from running, or as far as running, that I had 15 years ago, and achieving certain times in like the marathon, half marathon, that sort of thing, and being as healthy as possible. That's the cool thing with running. Running ties directly into health. So the faster you get, the better shape you get in, the better your health is. I mean, Peter Attia, he's been talking about this for the last 2 years, where he's been
Hmm.
hyping up VO2 max like crazy. As VO2 max is like, he's always talking about the number one thing that tells you how healthy you are. So he's always like, you got to achieve the
Hmm.
highest VO2 max possible, and you're going to be the lowest risk possible for all cause mortality. Where having an elite VO2 max, he said, lowers your all cause mortality from heart disease, metabolic disease, cancer, all that sort of stuff 5 times. And so it's kind of cool where it's like, I can become healthier and get as healthy as possible while getting faster. So it's almost like the faster I get with running, the better shape I get in, the lower body fat, I'm going to be healthier. And I've seen it. I got blood work done in April, and I was like 222 pounds at the time. Now I'm 205 pounds. So I'm actually going to get some more blood work coming up here this
Jeez.
month. Yeah, and so I've lost since I started running 38 pounds. But the blood work at 222 pounds even was way better. And this was after, I'd say, roughly 3 months of, or 2 months of running. And my fasted insulin was like the lowest possible. So that basically means your insulin sensitivity, which is what you want, was as high as possible. So insulin resistance is what kills you. That's metabolic disease, diabetes, that sort of thing. Think of it like that. Insulin resistance leads to diabetes and a whole host of other problems. Insulin sensitivity is what you want. You want to be as insulin sensitive as possible. So you want your insulin number on a blood panel to be as low as possible. And mine was just like stupid low. You couldn't even get it any lower. And that I credit 100% to running. My another one we'll look at, it's called apolipoprotein B, and it is basically the new version of cholesterol. It's the new biomarker they look at. It has a much greater predictor as far as heart disease, heart attacks, that sort of thing. It's way more important than LDL and HDL. That is kind of outdated now. HDL and LDL, they found, doesn't actually predict that accurately, the kind of shape your heart's in or your chance of heart disease. So they look at apolipoprotein B now, and you can get these checked very cheap. It's literally like $15 test. And that is a much greater predictor of heart health. And mine was also super low. I was at 85. Really good number without any medication. I'm not on any medication. I take natural supplements, vitamins, and such. But all of these numbers, the point is, were crazy healthy, like as healthy as you could possibly be. And I attribute that 100% to having low body fat and getting into running. So it's like cardiovascular exercise is a game changer. It's what's going to keep everybody around. It's going to keep you healthy. It's going to keep you living a long life. So I 100% believe that having an elite VO2 max and getting as low body fat as possible and doing cardiovascular exercise, running or not, like those are the keys. So I'm like, why wouldn't I lean into this? Why wouldn't I try to get faster? Why wouldn't I try to get in better shape and lose weight and all that sort of stuff? And it got rid of my sleep apnea. So for me, running's been like this transformative process that's completely changed my life, even in a 5 month, less than 5 month time span, where my blood work is impeccable. I got rid of my sleep apnea. I'm the leanest I've been in probably like 15 years. I look way younger. My skin is way more clear. So it's like I attribute this all to running. That's what I love about it. It just transforms your health. And I still lift, obviously, but it's like I'm so blown away by how much running has done for my health. Blown away.
Damn. Well, if anybody listening to this wasn't sold on running yet, I think you just sold them on it. Yeah, that was good, man. I think one question I had while you're talking is like, did you do any sort of cardio when you were doing powerlifting, or was like 5 months ago when you first got into running? Was that like really your first experience at cardio?
Yeah, that was it. I never did cardio. That whole time, I never did cardio. I mean, I had the background to where When I was 15 years old, just to kind of do it, I trained for 5 months for a marathon. I ran a 4:24, very slow. Um, but after that,
I
there was
mean,
no
that's not.
cardio.
I would say that's slow.
Yeah, see, by my standards now, I'm like, okay, that's not great. But, um, since then, like the last 15 years after that, zero cardio. So that's where I basically went, a decade with sleep apnea. I went with high blood pressure, with everything being in an unhealthy state. So now it's kind of like an overcompensation effect where I'm like, I need to get as healthy as possible.
Mm.
And I've become obsessed with getting my body fat as low as possible. I'm gonna get it checked actually in like the next week or so as well. Gonna try to get a pretty accurate picture. I have a guess of where it's at, but I want to know for sure and get the blood work. I'm always looking at that. I'm completely obsessed with health now, fascinated by it. I've learned from some very knowledgeable people who kind of took me under their wing, taught me everything. I'm very well versed in like blood work, biomarkers, that sort of thing, and it's almost like a different kind of personal record PR for me, where it used to be like, okay, I'm going to hit a heavier lift, a PR on my lift. Now it's like I got to get my blood work to where it's like a PR where it's as dialed in as possible so that I know I'm in like a healthy range. And that's become kind of a new obsession. So it all ties together. It's where it's like I'm crossing off bucket list things with running. I'm getting in better shape. I'm still lifting. I'm just not anywhere near as strong, but I'm still trying to maintain my strength. That's still kind of the foundation. The pursuit of strength never goes away. But instead of chasing, say, like a 500-pound bench, it's like, okay, I'm going to work really hard to try to get like a 350 bench. And now I'm at 315. 315 is like hard, but I want to get to 350. We'll see if that's possible. So it's numbers that are a lot more attainable for everybody because you can relate to it. You don't need steroids. I'm not on testosterone.
Right.
I take vitamin D, vitamin K2, vitamin B complex, iron bisglycinate, and then I take vitamin C in the form of camu camu. But that's it. Those are the supplements, like vitamins, apple cider vinegar. So it's a lot more relatable, though, I think, for people to be like, okay, I can be healthy. I can have a pretty good physique. 315 bench, it's a high number, but it's not crazy. It's not outlandish. It's not something unachievable, unattainable. And I think that's going to resonate better with people than seeing like a 500-pound bench where it's like, well, yeah, but you're obviously juicing and, not in a healthy state. So that's kind of cool where I think in that way it might help the following long term because it is more relatable.